the location-dependent factors. And the mobile web is going to look like a visual information telescope. So basically what we are looking at is not only the mobile VAS providers, the operators providing service, but the subscribers who are adopting into the service also provide service. Right? This is a collaborative community where the subscribers actually provide information and which becomes accessible to all the other users. So this is one of the, I think, very important developments that are going to take place in the mobile web area. Mobile advertising and marketing, which is going to be subsequently discussed in the panel. The important things is personalization, mobile market, mobile advertising. The personalization has to be taken into account. The personalization has to be dependent on the user as well as the location where the user is present. And the location changes, so it has to be dynamic and it has to be context aware, right? So that the mobile advertising can or marketing can be targeted at a specific audience, taking into account, for example, the location and the contextual nature of the user. So of course, technologies will play a very, very important role. And here, the integration of the ecosystem between the mobile VAS operators and the network operators will come into picture and it has to be strengthened over a period of time. The other issue which I want to bring along is the two-sided markets. You have a buyer, you have a seller, you have a platform which enables buyers and sellers to come together, right? And there are excellent examples of this two-sided market. For example, the video game developer and seller. So you have, for example, Nintendo or any of these platforms which are developed, and the video seller produces programs and the user uses it, and there is an incentive for both of them to adopt this particular platform. The same holds good for credit card suppliers and users. The Visa platform allows banks to issue credit cards using this particular platform, and the user wants to use this for his or her purposes, and the platform ties up the buyers and users together. Software developers and users of the software over a particular OS platform is an excellent example. Now, why are these important, right? So this is a mechanism by which the buyers and the sellers are bridged together, right? So, for example, the foreign Nokias or Brew, the excellent examples of the platforms which bring the buyer and the seller together. Otherwise, the buyer does not know how to communicate their needs to the seller, and the seller, having some product to sell, don't know how to reach the buyer, right? So we need to have an environment where the buyer and the seller are brought together using this particular platform. And of course, if you want the buyer or the seller to get hooked onto the platform, it needs to be attractive enough, it needs to be priced such that they have an incentive to do so. But once they get hooked onto it, the classical network economics takes place, and therefore you will have the network effect of increasing the benefits for both the user as well as the buyer as well as the seller. So, MVAS developer and user, this community has to be brought together, right? So that we understand what the user wants, and the user knows what you can provide, and there has to be common platforms developed to promote this. Mobile Monday is an excellent example of providing such forums, but it's mainly on the seller side, right? We need to bring in the buyers as well so that it can improve in its effectiveness. So I just thought about this particular example. It's not tied to any particular service or not. See, why don't you think about this particular section of the population, visually impaired, 161.2 million, and hearing loss, people have 280 million. We don't know what these users want, right? So there are, of course, technologies which have been developed, speech-to-text recognition. Take NTT Docomo, I think last month released a mobile phone in Japan, is specifically catering to the hearing impaired, right? But the important thing is, they want to connect, right? They want to talk, they want to exchange ideas, they want to possibly collaborate together within their community. They want mobility, for example, visually impaired definitely have a need for mobility, and they have a community of their own, right? But their needs are not getting addressed, right? Either by the mobile phone operators or the vast service providers. So there is a huge gap. So is it possible? It is just one particular example. There are so many different types of classifications of the users that we can come up with who might have certain definite preferences which have not been addressed by the market, right? So the market has to evolve such that this particular needs of the users are well understood. So of course, we can offer technology platforms which enable these particular section of the community to better participate. We can provide services. For example, simple example is that we can provide a service to connect all the visually impaired or the hearing impaired together using a particular forum, right? Then people will come to that and they'll subscribe to this particular service. So it is just an example of how a platform can be used to bring in the buyers and sellers together to make it successful. So I'll just touch upon briefly on the enabling regulations. We've seen, as Gabriel had pointed out, some important landmarks in our history of regulation. Our regulator has been very kind enough, he's been very open. All of you should attend. For example, if at all TRI comes up with an open house in Bangalore for MBAS consultation paper, all of you should attend and give your views. So the VAS consultation paper, recognition of the VAS industry. Mobile number portability is going to be coming soon, which will further increase, for example, the need to get on to the subscribers, hook them on. Right? The operators are likely, I hope operators are not here, operators are likely to lower prices, offer more services. Despite the heavy competition, very low prices, low ARPU, high minutes of usage, the operators have an EBITDA. Some of the operators have an EBITDA greater than 40%. Right? So we need to attack this. Right? So they have, the large 4 operators in the country have about 42% EBITDA margin. So we need to attack this. There's a huge scope for us to participate and the operators to participate with us. 3G and broadband wireless spectrum auction is going to be held soon. It's even conceived that it's going to happen by October, and by December the spectrum is going to be given to the operators who will be winning the auction. So, and 3G is conceived, at least by the regulator and the Department of Telecommunication, as a service distinct from 2G service. How can you make 3G service distinct from 2G service? Only through voice. Right? So otherwise it's just enhanced voice. So it has to be distinct. So there are opportunities. TRI is also recommended, for example, mobile virtual network operator to come into India. So MVNOs, along with mobile number portability, will increase the competition amongst the operators quite a bit. And since voice has become a commodity, there is a huge opportunity for us to sell our services either directly to the subscriber or through the network operator to get to that 40% EBITDA. TRI recommendations on mobile TV, it's already out. So mobile TV is going to be, at least the spectrum in the 700